here's a tomato plant. This is a Husky cherry tomato. And what some people don't know, a lot of people know this, but tomatoes grow suckers. And I'll tell you what I mean by suckers. So here's the main stem of the tomato, right? Going up. And then it has these lateral branches that come off with leaves. And then as you come up here, see how there's the main stem and then a lateral leaf, and then there's this guy coming right here. That is a sucker. And what you can do with those is you can actually break them off and plant them, and they'll grow roots, and then you'll have a whole nother plant, because basically that's what they are. They're like a whole nother tomato plant growing off the main stem. And I'll show you down here. See this little guy right here? This was just a little itty bitty tiny sucker, probably about the size of that right there when I picked it off. Well, a little bigger than that. And I just put him in there, just kept giving it water, and lo and behold, we have another plant. And I'll dig it out here in a second to see how it's doing, and we can put it in another pot. But before that, I'll show you how I take suckers off. Usually this is way bigger. This one got past me and I didn't even realize it was there. But I just snap them right here. Like that. They pop off pretty easy. But yeah. See that? And it had flowers growing on it. I picked them off so that when I plant it, it'll focus on growing roots instead of trying to produce a tomato. So I'm going to take off these lower stems right here, and I'm just going to stick it straight into this pot right here that has wet soil in it. And I'm going to plant it pretty deep, probably 3 or 4 inches, probably about right where my thumb is right there, all the way in there. And it'll grow roots off all of that right there. So anyways, so let me take these stems off and then we'll put it into this pot. Alright, so I took off those branches that were coming off the stem here. And I'm just going to put this right in the middle. I'm going to sink this puppy all the way down like that. So it's almost touching the bottom of the pot. And I'm actually going to break this one off too, just so it's not touching the dirt. So now I'm just going to pack it in there kind of tight. And we'll keep checking on it and make sure that the soil is at least, pretty moist. It needs to be a little wetter than usual, than you would want a tomato, just while you're trying to get it to root. So we'll come back and we'll look at it again in a week or so, and we'll see how it's doing. Alright, so let's look at this other one that I put in here. Let's see how it's doing. I'm going to take a risk here and use my fingers and try to gently pull it out. Feels like it's got some roots. It might be the roots from the main one. Wow. Look at that. That's all its roots right there, coming off this little sucker. And this was just a little tiny guy that I picked off of, probably right there. So they grow right in there. I usually pluck them off and throw them away. But there's the one we just took off. That was a big one. So we'll see how well it does. So bam, there it is. I'm going to go plant this in another pot, and I'm going to have a whole nother tomato growing. And hopefully this one will take off and do well. We'll have another tomato there too. Alright, thanks for watching The Obsessive Gardener. See you next time.